Hell hath no fury like a traitor scorned. All ye faithful, be forewarned. We're talking about the Traitors 3 season finale on Grover Served. Hi, I'm Tanner Grover. Here on Grover Served, my little YouTube channel, I'll be talking about movies, television series, reality TV. You could call it a review show, a rant show, a recap show. Call it whatever you like, but do me a favor and go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Pretend you're Alan Cumming just ripping one of those beloved traitor portraits off the wall. Someone's just been murdered. You gotta let everyone know at breakfast, and you're really making an impact for good television. We love Alan Cumming on this channel. Who doesn't? Just a quick heads up, this is not a spoiler-free show. If you haven't seen the episode yet, I highly advise you to hop on over to the Cock, short for Peacock, check it out, then hop back over to my channel to find out exactly why I thought this episode was kind of lame in the grand scheme of things. I mean, here's the gist of it. You had Danielle, who was banished, and on her way out, she throws shade at Brittany. This sets off a red flag for Dylan, who was already kind of suspecting there might be another traitor amongst their ranks. Brittany then wins the power of the seer. She takes Gabby to dinner to reveal whether or not Gabby is a faithful or a traitor. Brittany, of course, already knows that Gabby is a faithful because Brittany is the only traitor left. It's part of her endgame strategy. So the rest of the house is, wondering what's going to come of this at breakfast the next morning. Is Brittany going to frame Gabby as a traitor and try to, pin it on her and eliminate her from being the, one of the people standing at the end? Or is she going to be honest and say she's a faithful? So at breakfast, Brittany opts to play the truth game and say, Gabby's a faithful, and guess what, so am I. And that throws a bit of a wrench into Dylan's plans. So then they have their final challenge. Probably the highlight is when they are on this little scavenger hunt, and there's this wall, and they have to do a little bit of math in order to crack the code to get beyond the wall to get these cars and the prize earnings for that round. And Gabby makes her remark, because Brittany does the problem, where she must be really good at her periodic tables. Well, that would be elements, not math, Gabby, but that's okay. So they get their money, and then they have a chance to double it by hanging from a helicopter and throwing these, bags of cash into a flaming ring, and they probably have a 70% success rate. So this brings the final prize pot to just over $200,000, and now we're entering the real endgame scenario. So on one hand, you have Dylan, who has straight up told Ivar, no matter what, I'm voting for Brittany. I think Brittany, if there's anyone that's a traitor, all the signs point towards her. You have to take note of what Danny's exit speech was. Dylan is like, let's get Brittany. And Ivar seems on board. Brittany, on the other hand, is taking the approach of, all right, I've gained some trust with Gabby by getting her under my wing. I'm going to get Dolores under my other wing, and then we're going to target Dylan, because she sees Dylan probably is her biggest threat at the round table. And I get it. You're feeling the pressure, you're feeling the heat from Dylan, and you want to make the first move. You don't want him to get you, so you're going to get all your ducks in a row and go after him. But I think that Brittany made a really major miscalculation. You see, there's already another target on the table, and that's Ivar. Dolores has written his name down several weeks in a row. She definitely has some belief that he could be a traitor. I would think it would be way easier to let her take the lead on this. You just kind of lay low, hope that your name doesn't get written down, and then skate to the end. I think that Gabby would have been on board to vote Ivar, and then you be that third vote, and you control the round table. You get to the end, and then after that, it's game over. You're going to win. Instead, she came in hot, guns a-blazing, gave Dylan more than he could handle. It really baby-faced him to the others. I think it was a little off-putting, and, it's easy for me to sit here and kind of critique an edited show for our entertainment. I'm not sure what was said in the complete roundtable. Maybe Dylan was a little bit more aggressive than the cameras let on, but either way, it didn't get her to that final round. Let Dolores take the lead and just lay low. I know it's tough to do because you're essentially putting your game into the hands of others, but don't on some level you kind of do that in every reality competition? There's no jury that determines the winner of the Traitors, but you do have to garner trust with the people that you're living with. It's not really that different. And I think at the end of the day, Brittany felt attacked, and I get, you got to defend yourself. But even beyond that, I think she just had the wrong target in mind in the first place. You could have gone with Ivar. And if you go with Ivar, you get him out. I really think that on that final ceremony, Brittany comes home with all the money. So instead what we get are the faithfuls, Dolores, Ivar, Dylan, and Gabby around the fire in the final ceremony. The first vote, they all throw their bags in the fire. They're all green. They all want to end the game. Everyone goes home, splitting the prize pot. They get around 50,000 and change each. And it's just kind of lame, right? Like season 2 was so much more interesting, where you had 3 faithfuls at the end of that game. You had CT and Trishelle, and then MJ. CT and Trishelle have this history from the challenge. They're like, you know what? If we partner up and we can just disagree and frame MJ as a traitor, we can get more money. That was interesting, right? That's good reality TV. So now that we have this finish, as Gabby put it in the post-show reunion show, very kumbaya, I'm going to have to go and call it kumbaya, as in like, nah, I don't want this on my TV anymore. And so I like the Traitors. I think it's a great game. Where do we go from here, though? And this is a question that I want you to answer in the comments. How do we make this game better? Now, I'm not Milton Bradley or one of the Parker brothers. I'm not a creative game genius. But I do recognize that all games over time improve and make changes. You have Exile Island on Survivor, or you can even go as far back as the season 3 of Big Brother, where they introduced the power of veto. So, to me, one of the most interesting things about the Traitors is getting a traitor to the end. So, right now, as it stands, I would say that when you're tapped on the very first day by Alan to be a traitor, you're really at a severe disadvantage. Sure, you can murder people, but the odds are just not in your favor. So how do we create an incentive for a faithful to bring a traitor to the end of the game? Now, this isn't fully thought out, and it's by no means perfect, but I was taking a page from the old Star Wars playbook, where your Sith Lords have apprentices, or in this case, I'm going to call this person the disciple that is then chosen by the traitors at large. So we have the game, Alan goes around, taps the 3 traitors, and then the traitors get together in the turret on the very first night, and they take one faithful that they're going to call the disciple, and then the disciple, they get to play the middle ground game. And a deal was made where a disciple can never write a traitor's name down, and a traitor can never murder a disciple. And if a disciple and a traitor, or 2, or maybe 3, that probably would not happen, get to the end of the game, when they get to that final ceremony, if there are any faithfuls left, those faithfuls are automatically eliminated from winning the prize pot money. So the disciple and the traitors split the winnings. So it's not perfect, but it's something. It might make for a better finish than this year. We can't just have people being friends all the time. We need backstabbing. We need drama. We need something interesting going on. Tell me what you think of the disciple in the comments below. Do you like the idea? Do you hate it? What are your ideas? I want to know. Finally, we're going to go ahead and rate this episode based on the groverserved rating system. But before we do that, can we get a last call for hitting that subscribe button and clicking that little bell so more of me shows up in your feed? I'd really appreciate that. So the way the rating system works, it's a lot like golf. You see, I'm a wine drinker. right? And a lot of these shows, they take a little bit of wine to get through. So the lower the score, the better. If it's a perfect finale, you don't need a drink, right? You have no notes for the program. It was so enjoyable from start to finish. It entertained. I felt good walking away from it, and it was just flawless. But the worse it is, the more wine you need to get through it, right? And the worst possible score that you could get would be 5 glasses. That's the equivalent of a whole bottle. You can't even see straight. You don't want to see straight because that show was so terrible. It just was all that you could take to get through it. So what's my rating for this rather lame season finale of The Traitors? Well, that's a solid 3 glasses. One for Ivar for being kind of a dud. One for Dolores for not really being there at all. And then another at Dylan for just being such a dweeb. I mean, definitely my least favorite of the two Efrons. Zach, you're kind of a stud, I'm not going to lie. Gabby, I'm going to spare you. You made for some great moments on television. I love your aloofness. I think that you're a lot smarter than you let on. And kudos for keeping us all entertained. All right, that's all for now. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Groverserved. Hope to see you next time.